is 2 Minutes About Time with Luke Allen and Robert E.G. Black, the podcast that takes a look at the film About Time 2 minutes at a time. I am Richard Curtis, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you don't, well, you can just travel back in time 2 minutes and listen to something else.
I'm one of your hosts, Luke Allen. I'm joined as always with my co-host, Robert E.G. Black.
Hello, hello.
And with special guest for this week, Alexander Westwood.
Hi there, hiya.
So, Alex, would you like to introduce yourself to our listeners?
Sure. My name is Alexander Westwood. I'm an actor, occasional writer, I suppose, or turned writer at the moment. I've always enjoyed writing, but now within the lockdown parameters, I'm sort of doing a lot more writing, which is leading to some exciting things, hopefully.
Indeed.
I'm gonna stop there.
Okay. And the listeners, if they are a follower of any of my work, thank you, and they'll know you from Unstable.
Yes, of course.
You play the lead role of Adam, and that's kind of how I know you. So yeah, and so am I right? This is your first experience with About Time?
Yeah, it is. This has been my first sort of 6 minutes of the film. An enjoyable 6 minutes, I must say.
And of the movie-by-minute format, I assume.
Yes, yeah. That's yeah.
I think I've discussed this with you in the past, maybe. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is my first experience hosting such a thing, so we've got that slight unprofessional thing. And if these episodes end up being shorter, we don't know. It's literally because Alex has kindly stood in with about an hour and a half's notice. So thank you for that.
You didn't have time to watch the whole movie.
Yeah, so, what are your impressions of the film from the minutes you've been sent over before we go straight into minute 36?
My impressions are great acting, phenomenally interesting story. I haven't researched this film at all, but I quickly clocked, time travel. I mean, this guy's asking for details, and then someone says go again. Well, there's only so many chances you can get to go again and talk to a girl, and then the idea he says, Rachel McAdams says, I haven't met you. So the whole, I don't know, it's very interesting. It seems like a very good premise. It's definitely something I will actually watch.
I think you've heard a lot of me obsessing about this film. I think
I have indeed.
I think I probably mentioned it in parts of Directing Unstable.
I think this has finally pushed me over the edge of wanting to watch it.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, I think I possibly pushed you too far with the Radio Shropshire interviews and things, where I was like, I think Unstable became described as About Time on crack.
Yeah.
By our radio presenter. The radio presenter, who we should get on the show at some point, because he ridicules me every time I'm on because my favourite film is About Time. So I think that means he's the perfect guest.
Yes.
So I will message him as soon as this is over. So, minute 36 is a continuation of the scene in the Kate Moss Museum, which was all a set.
Exhibit, it's not her museum.
Well, yeah, all right.
Yeah,
all right. I'm very tired. It's been a long day, and who knows? Maybe in this universe she has her own museum. And, this I think we discussed last week that the exhibit, although taken from parts of an actual exhibit, was a set that had been built and designed especially for the film. Yeah. And so the first line of dialogue is Mary saying, I'm fine," and Tim says, "So good to see you. We've never met before," and he says, "Oh no," followed by a word that we don't repeat on the show. "No, of course we haven't." And she says, "No, sorry, I think you've mistaken me for someone else." Where Tim says, "Yeah, no. Your name is Mary." And even from this point, I find it weird and possibly quite sweet that. Oh, hang on, I've just dropped my phone. Right, I find it weird and possibly quite sweet that Tim is still, in this occasion, quite nervous around Mary, even though he, by this point, surely knows that he can, got no pressure, he can relive these things over and over again. I think it sort of says quite a lot about how much he likes Mary as to how nervous and stressed he is about the whole situation, really.
Did you say live these moments over again? Because, not to turn this into an Avengers Endgame discussion, but how is time travel actually working within this film?
He can
influence it differently each time.
Yeah, all the men in his family have the ability to travel back only to a point in time in which they remember, by going into a dark room, closing their eyes and clenching their fists and remembering the moment they're in before they go back to that time.
But this scene didn't actually happen before they met under different circumstances, and then he accidentally erased that by going back in time. So he had to find her again.
He remembered she talked about Kate Moss, so waited in the Kate Moss gallery until she turned up, and then so this is him meeting her again, but basically he can just go back in time and relive it, and at this point there are no repercussions to what he does going back in time. Like, great, other than obviously erasing that, but greater things of a larger scale happen later on in the film, but I won't go too much into that if you
There's no repercussions, but also the movie hasn't demonstrated that he would repeatedly repeat the same moment. He hasn't had the opportunity to do it yet.
Okay.
And he's inherently a nervous guy, so it might as well be their first meeting.
Got ya.
Yeah, so he says, "Oh no, your name is Mary." She follows that with, "That's distinctly weird. How did you know that?" Well, you look like a Mary. I mean, in what way? My mum's called Mary. I look like your mother. No, you're much prettier. It's a nice fringe, by the way. And it's just, I mean, the fringe was something that she'd mentioned earlier on that she wasn't sure about. So that's a great reuse of that. Apparently, when the trailer for the film first came out, the fact that Tim's mother is called Mary, and the fact that he and his dad can travel back in time, apparently a lot of people thought that the plot twist was going to be that he is his dad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which is...
That's a very different film.
Yeah. I think Richard Curtis said on the commentary he wished he had that idea when he was writing the thing. But, that would have been so different. And actually, it's been brought to my attention through... It must have been some interview I was listening to recently. This is technically Richard Curtis's third time writing time travel. Because he wrote a time travel episode of Blackadder in 1999, followed by the Doctor Who episode Vincent and the Doctor in 2010.
Oh, beautiful that was.
And then this
episode, yeah.
Once again, something involving both Bill Nye and a scene in the gallery.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this whole exchange is sort of brilliant, and it's quite similar to the deleted scene we have with Margot Robbie with the pajamas, really, as to him just digging a hole deeper while trying to get himself out.
Yeah.
So we have, no, you must pretty nice fringe. Oh, it's new and too short, but no. Well, gee, thank you. And listen, it was really nice to meet you. I should probably go because my friend's waiting for me, and you're a stranger. You're a total stranger. Total stranger. And he says, yeah, okay. I mean, is there much on the visuals in this minute, Robert?
No, it's more about the timing. She starts walking away before he's even said the, your name is Mary stuff, and that gets her attention. Yeah. And she's, the entire time she's still sort of turning away, and then you can tell that Joanna is not far off.
Mm. I love that he thought that would help. Telling her that he knows her name, he thought that'll save.
Well, it got her to stand there longer.
It did. I guess it did something. And we already discussed last week how the film in the States went from a PG-13 to an R because of the picture behind his shoulder.
Yeah.
Wow, that's quite a step up just for. I mean,
it's not just that. They also say the F word several times, but
it's a 12 here.
It lingers. So.
Yeah, it's a 12 here, and the nudity's not even mentioned by the BBFC at all. But that was a deal breaker, or one of them, in the States for this film, which I think is a shame, because I don't know. I think this film would do quite well with a lot of the teenage market, as it has with me anyway, is to just being an enjoyable film, and most people my age who've seen this like it. And I mean, obviously you can see it, below 18 at an R, with an adult and all that, but it's, I don't know, I feel like it kind of missed a bit of an audience possibly that it could have had. So he then. I mean, at this point, I am wondering why he just doesn't go back and relive this moment. Because it's
he's got to try to recover first. He needs to know what to fix before he tries to fix it.
Yeah, that's true. Because I think it's great that Tim isn't really a perfectionist in the fact that he knows he can go back. He's not going back for little minute things.
Got the confidence to know that you can win your partner, /girlfriend, /boyfriend, whatever, over twice. Then why should, if you could relive that moment? I mean, to me, this might just be me and my creativity, but quite frankly, if I had that power, I'd definitely try and come up with different ways of asking out my partner, because I
would be horrible about this. I would do everything many, many times and get obsessive. I already talked in this about the short film Time Freak, and that's what it's about. The guy who creates time travel and then just uses it to fix one conversation. Forever.
I mean, I do that in the shower, usually 2 hours after the appointment. But that sounds good too.
But yeah, I mean, would you stand the risk though in losing what was already great? Like if you just for fun go back,
because you can remember that, can't you? He seems to remember his previous meeting, hence why he's able to address her as Mary. So theoretically, you could really end up as the sort of the winner of this competition in a, I say competition. You could end up as a winner of this with about 15 bonus memories plus the original time that you have to partner out. So you could go, do you remember the time I asked you out on a roller coaster? No. I rewrote that one. Do you remember that time I bungee jumped and asked you out? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could really
keep a journal to remember what actually happened.
It'd be great, yeah.
But the thing with the journal is, we go back in time. Yeah, that would work actually. Yeah, because you go back in time and whatever happened in the previous one wouldn't be there. Yeah, that works. Yeah.
You just genuinely step it up each time. So the second that she introduces you to your family, she goes, "Oh wow, well, our meeting was phenomenal." Not knowing that you've been planning this for however long, with the last 15 aborted meetings, or where you've gone, "Oh, that didn't quite work."
Wow.
How morally right?
Until you see the sex scene when you watch the whole movie.
Oh yeah, which was nearly what you were on for.
Well, that did confuse me, because you said that we were talking about that, and I thought, oh, crikey, best prepare a few jokes to lighten the tension. But,
yeah, because we were going to have you on next week. Yeah. Because we're going to have you on, well, it would be 2 weeks' time, but recording next week. And then it was like, rather than us getting confused with recording it out of sync, I was like, I'll just swap over what I've sent you.
Well, I didn't clock that you changed it, so I thought the random video you sent me, which is literally just a black screen that says 9:17 a.m. and whatever.
Oh, okay.
I was like, strawberry mousse. I was like, this is creative. And then it went straight to the Kate Moss exhibit, and I thought, oh, well, that was quite quick.
Okay, that's my best random minute I've sent over. We've definitely got a lot to talk about that on Friday. So, what are your overall thoughts of this first minute before we go straight into the next moment?
Well, my thoughts. It was immediately captivating. The idea that someone can walk up to another person and go, "Oh, nice to see you again," and they turn around and go, I beg your pardon, I've never met you in my life. It's a very intriguing premise, no matter what film it is. But the way that it's carried by Donald Gleeson and Rachel McAdams is really something else. If you went out and described that to someone on the street, they might think it was a prank from Practical Jokers, or Impractical Jokers rather. Trying to get someone to say, "Oh yeah, I know you," But no, the way that it was carried off with such sort of fluidity, and the sort of the awkwardness of the attempt to say, your name's Mary. How do I know that? Well, my mom's name's Mary. As if that's going to make her turn around and go, "Oh, great, yeah, we do know each other. Silly me." And it is very beautiful. It's very beautiful.
Incidentally, it's possibly a worthwhile point to say that Donald Gleeson's mum's name is Mary, as an extra fact. So yeah, so we go straight into minute 37.
Before we're at
Oh, yeah.
37, I just want to say I love that she repeats "total stranger"
Yeah.
because she says it. She's like, "You're a total stranger." She pauses and like, "Total stranger."
So that makes me wonder whether she's like I've read that as she was almost slightly falling for him in a slight, and she had to remind
Right,
herself.
she's reminding herself that
She was
wait,
like,
I don't know this guy.
Don't get into
Get
this.
loud.
Yeah. And yeah, so the line that we open minute 37 with, even hearing it on the commentary while I was prepping, like, it makes me laugh out loud when Tim just goes, "It's crazy stuff." Like, it's just... yeah.
Yeah.
And she walks away.
Yeah, she goes, "Yeah, kind of. Okay, bye, Mary. Bye." And then he goes straight to Kit Kat with, "Oh, no." She says, "How did it go?" "No, it was very poor. Very poor. Very poor indeed, yeah." And Kit Kat says, "You got to go again." And I love, like, the two... Because Kit Kat doesn't know he can travel back in time.
No.
Like, so she just literally means go back up to Mary. So I...
Yeah.
Well, I'm confused. Did he just, for want of a better word, spawn into a Kate Moss exhibit and go, "Hey, it's I don't know who she is, but he says it's his sister, but you've used the name Kit Kat, so I'll stick with that."
Yeah.
Did he just spawn into a Kate Moss exhibit and go, "Oh, look, it's Kit Kat. Let's go and have a conversation with her about a girl that I'm going to meet."
This is what we've wondered, because he's not, like... No one else knows that he can travel in time other than him and his dad.
Mm.
So, somehow, he told his sister, "I'm going to sit and wait in this Kate Moss museum for the entire weekend period that the museum's open," because we get a montage just before. For 5 days, yeah. I'm going to sit and wait for 5 days for this woman who I met once, who doesn't have any contact details for me, to turn up so I can speak. Like, how...
Well, I take it the deleted scenes with the other 5 days with her checking in and going, "Is she here yet?" Nope.
Well, what we got was him sitting on the bench by himself for 4 days, and then on the 5th day his sister's with him.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, so I do like the fact she says you got to go again, because it's almost a double entendre, really.
Mm.
You know? Not that she knows it, obviously, but yeah. On the topic of double entendres, this is completely random, but it was bugging me the other day, right? I was watching High School Musical, right? As you do. The title High School Musical, does that refer to the film being a musical about high school, or the fact that they're doing a musical in their high school?
Yes.
Indeed.
These are the questions I'll be asking if I get my slot on High School Musical Minute. Or is it what they calling it? Is it Wildcats Minute or High School Musical? Whatever that is.
High School Minute.
I'm booked in at some point, but I don't think
XM.
I've had my...
High School
my
Minute
time
might be a
yet.
bit broad. It's like, we're going to cover every high school film ever.
I mean, that'd be something to cover every high school film ever, 1 minute at a time.
They just keep making more. We're doing this forever.
I think it'd be a struggle to even get through the John Hughes ones. I like the John Hughes ones, but there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, how'd it go? You got to go again. You can do it. Take 2. He says she always looks different. I'm sorry. It's who says that? Is it?
That's Mary talking to
That's
Joanna.
Mary talking to Joanna. Okay. Good.
About
See, with the transcript,
Austin.
I just can't see who it's right.
You gotta grab
So-
my updated one before we start recording.
I should have done. I'll do that for the next episode, and I'll keep this open for this one. So, yeah. Sorry, it's me again. Tim says coming up. Hi. Sorry. Joanna, this is Tim. Hello, nice to meet you. Tim. Hi, Mary. Tim is a total stranger whose mother's name is Mary. And Tim just says, "Yeah, I just had this weird experience with Mary here of thinking she was someone else, but she wasn't. But I just wondered if I could walk around with you for a while. But, because my sister Kit Kat's about to leave." Yeah, bye. And I mean, it's just such a poor excuse that I can't believe it ends up working.
I mean, I didn't know whether that was. Well, I just didn't know how to take it. The fact that it just they ran with it. I was like, okay, well, you're either sort of very into this guy that you, as you say, is a total stranger, or that's the most convincing acting from his sister that this girl has ever seen, and I refuse to believe that it's the latter.
Yeah, I mean, I think part of me leads us to wonder, like, whether in this universe, like, even though he's travelled in time, there are little, like, ounces and little bits of things that leads her to being drawn to him as a result of what happened before. Like, whether everything's been completely erased or whether there's, like, just little remainders. I don't know. I haven't really gone in depth in this whole thing.
Well, then you get into a whole discussion of, like, how does time work? Are we just experiencing it as time passing and everything, all moments exist at the same time? Because then, yeah, you can make a weird quantum physics argument that she still remembers something on, like, a molecular level. But that's way more complicated than we need to bother with.
If you're a physician, email in. Luke at Luke Allen.
You mean a physicist?
And guest on the show. That's the word.
I mean,
I'm
a physician,
tired.
sure, come on the show too, but...
Yeah, we'll have anyone. Like, you know, I'm running out of guests here. I'll probably have my dog on next week. Who knows? So yeah, I mean, it's odd, but I quite like this whole thing. But I mean, I've got this theory that the entire film, because Tim narrates the film, which you'd see when you watch the whole film, Alex, that he's an unreliable narrator and that he's telling this story to us. So this occasion is so embarrassing to him that maybe he's telling us it in a worse way than it actually occurred.
Okay.
I know it's an easy get out of jail free card, really, but you know, I think it could work.
It fits.
It hasn't bothered me too much until, like, looking at this film in depth. Like, when I watched it all the way through, like, these sorts of things I don't even question, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you think of Vanessa Kirby as Joanna?
I thought that's. I'm glad you asked. Because she took to him like a duck took to water. It was a bit weird. I thought she was just a little too. I mean, I don't know whether that's how her character's written, but the way she sort of went right in there. I don't know. In some ways, she seems like a very overbearing character. Like, for example, the scenes in the cafe. Saying rude. I mean, that's okay. Yeah, you might think that, but you tend to keep your thoughts to yourself rather than speak out loud. And then the way that she, she approached how Tim approached them, I really didn't know what to make of her. I don't know whether it was a direction, the script, or her interpretation of the character. I just don't know what to make of her, to be perfectly honest with you.
It's a bigger thing in the next like couple minutes, but it feels like she's always in the moment. Like, he walked up, she'll greet him and be happy about it. When he says something and it bothers Mary, oh, she's going to say it's rude because Mary's upset. And so she's always right there she doesn't have a sense of past or embarrassment. She's always, this is what's happening, I'm going to do my best with it. And a guy just walked up. He might be for me. I don't know.
She's like the complete foil to Tim, really.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, yes. I can see that.
And I think we don't see much of it, but she'd get on really well with Tom Hollander's character of Harry.
Yes.
Like, in how cynical they both are.
I think they're only in one scene together and they don't interact, so...
Yeah, it's a shame. So, yeah, I mean, is there much else to say on visuals for 37?
I got a couple things. I love there's interesting, in this whole sequence, there's interesting timing on the cuts where people will start talking and then the camera goes to them. So it's like overlapping in this conversation with the shots. But at the beginning of this, when he walks up to him, Mary is basically hidden behind Joanna. And then Kate Moss's head is right above theirs. So it's like he's talking to this weird amalgam of three women when he's already awkward enough. But visually, you don't know who he's talking to. And then Kit Kat, as usual, is always good. She just kind of like sidles up next to him. And then she raises up her wrist like there's a watch there when she's saying she's going to go. But there's no watch, and she doesn't look at it. She just raises up her wrist and then turns. Like,
and actually, those two people on that bench, I know Tim's been there for much longer, but they've been there for a while.
Yeah.
Like, that guy looking through his
The guy looking through his book, yeah. I guess he just bought it at the gift shop, so he's checking it out. It's the exhibit book, which you can buy online.
Huh. You've like I'm always shocked by the amount of prep that you put into this. I mean,
I looked up the exhibit.
I don't know whether you're reading from trivia on IMDb or whether this is coming out your brain at this. I'm just.
That's Google.
Oh, right. There's a scene near the start of the film where Bill Nye's character's in his room with a bookshelf. Robert went through to try and figure out what all the books are and whether they're in any sort of order and what that might say.
But
about
then
the
I gave up
character.
when he realized they're not organized at all, and I'm like, it. Oops.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to bleep that one.
Yeah, that's fine. Gives me more stuff to do. So yeah, I mean, it's fun, but my prep tends to be book the guests and set up recording, and that's about it. I watch the commentary beforehand, then I'm covered. Oh, and edit them, of course. That's pretty time consuming. But yeah, I think it's one thing I do quite like is in this whole thing where he's meeting Joanna, like you can see on Tim's face that he's slightly less uncomfortable and embarrassed. Like he thinks that this might work. So yeah, I guess what are all your overall thoughts of this minute, or both minutes, I guess?
It's sort of. I don't know. I don't know what to feel because the way that they, I don't know, the whole interaction, it just seems so. I don't know what the words are. It just seems so perfect but it seems awkwardly perfect, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, imagine a jigsaw puzzle, but some of the pieces fit together where they shouldn't, but it's in the sky, so it all just looks like shades of blue.
Well, Richard Curtis is so good with meet cutes that he uses 3 for the same characters in the same film.
But yes, it's awkwardly perfect, and it's very endearing. It's nice to watch. It's sweet. I think it's very sweet.
It also fits Tim's character that he basically just keeps talking until something works, because that's why he's also a narrator. He's got a story to tell, and he's gonna keep talking until he can fix it.
Yeah.
Can we talk about how even the rips in Kit Kat's jeans are purple?
Yeah.
Is that something I should have picked up on? Or?
Everything she wears is purple.
Everything's purple. Yeah.
She's got purple shoes here, purple little jacket, a purple backpack. And yeah, the threads in her jeans have been dyed purple.
Her car's purple.
That's a lot of purple. Is that a character thing or?
It's mentioned like once.
Yeah, it's mentioned
she just
once.
is purple. Yeah. Apparently that was a key thing in the script, according to the commentary. So, Alex, where can our listeners find you on social media?
You can find me on Instagram at alexander.westwood. You can find me on Twitter, which is @_Alex_Westwood, I believe. I probably should know my own Twitter. Yes, and they're 2 places that I tend to post the most, and I mean not so much Instagram. Instagram tends to be updatey things. I'm not one of those cool photo type people that just spams everything. I like to post cool stuff, but if it's usually got a reason. And Twitter tends to be more my thoughts. So yeah, I mean it depends what you're more into, or if you're into both, then feel free to drop me a follow on both. That's absolutely awesome.
And Robert, where can the listeners find you?
Social media, Robert E.G. Black, or my website for links to blogs and podcasts and stuff like that, lemmingdrops.com.
Listeners can find me on Twitter at llama_bottle0, on Instagram at the Ginger Luke, Facebook Luke Allen Film, all podcasts, short films, radio appearances, newspaper articles, all at lukeallen.co.uk. And this show is available on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at 2 Mins About Time, and you can join our Facebook group, The Cupboard. Thank you so much for listening, and today's goodbye is brought by the website article entitled 120 Funny and Cool Ways to Say Goodbye, and it's adios, hippos. The 2 Minutes About Time theme is performed by Ethan O'Mahony and is a cover of the About Time theme originally composed by Nick Laird-Close. 2 Minutes About Time is a production of Lemming Drop Studios in association with Bottle O Productions.